All right, Danny, are you ready?
Yes.
We are interrupting this show for a special report.
Because now it is time for Bag Lab.
Okay, so today's bag lab is how to make a ribbon bag strap such as this. Obviously, mine's a little bit shorter for my demonstration, but this is an adjustable ribbon strap, also known as a guitar strap. I noticed when I went to the store recently with Danny and Violet, majority of the bags had some sort of ribbon type strap or ribbon webbing type of strap. And so I thought it would be a really fun demonstration for tonight's Social Sunday. So I'm going to have Danny switch to the overhead camera. And I wanted to discuss two common, actually this is a good zoom out, Danny. I wanted to discuss two different widths because I feel like for bags, commonly I'm using either a 1-inch wide finish strap or 1.5-inch wide finish strap. So I made the 1-inch wide before the show. So if you would like to make your finish strap 1-inch wide, you'll need to cut your fabric 4 inches wide by however long you would like your strap to be. You will also need 2 1-inch swivel clips and 1 1-inch metal slider. And then the ribbon, I would suggest using a ribbon that's either the width of your finished strap or slightly smaller. So this is Renaissance Ribbons. Tula Pink has tons of ribbons from Renaissance Ribbons, including some brand new ones. So you can find all those on the Renaissance Ribbons website, which I've linked to in the description. I think this one was 7/8 of an inch for my demonstration for the 1.5-inch. I'm using a 1.5-inch wide ribbon, and Renaissance Ribbons has a variety of different widths, such as some of these ribbons that I have here. So you'll just want to choose a ribbon that's applicable to the size of the finished strap that you're going to make. Okay, so I'm going to put these to the side, and I'm going to be demonstrating the 1.5-inch wide strap. So for this piece, you'll need to cut your strap fabric 6 inches wide by however long you'd like to make it. And for my demonstration, I'm just using a shorter piece just so I don't have to deal with lots of excess length, but just know that you'll need to cut your strap the length of the strap you prefer depending on what bag you're making. Okay, so besides the strap fabric, I'm using a quilting cotton. I also cut a piece of Pellon Shapeflex. The Shapeflex is the same width as the fabric. It's just 3/4 of an inch shorter. So I already ironed this on previously before the show, and so I centered my Shapeflex. As you can see, there's a little bit of fabric poking out from either end. The reason that I'm centering the Shapeflex is because I wanted to keep the bulk of the interfacing out of the seam allowance, just because we have a lot going on here with the fabric interfacing and the ribbon as well. Another option, if your machine doesn't deal well with a lot of layers, is to just skip the Shapeflex. I like it here for the extra stability, but the ribbon also provides stability as well because it's not stretchy. And so if you'd like to skip the Shapeflex and just do the fabric with your ribbon, that's another option as well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and press my fabric toward the wrong side by 1/2 inch, and I'm going to do that on both of the short ends of the fabric. Okay, after I do that, I'm also going to press the fabrics wrong sides together in half so that both of the long edges are aligned. And I have my iron set to the cotton setting, as I usually do when I'm working with quilting cottons. Okay, next I'm going to open the fabric out and bring the lower edge up toward the center crease. And then I'm also going to bring the opposite long edge up toward the center crease and press as well. Okay, so I'm going to refold the fabrics along the creases that I made, and then I'm going to press one more time. Okay, so because I don't want the end of the webbing to be seen, the raw edges, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my piece of ribbon uncut, and I'm going to insert this end and fold it toward the wrong side by about 1/2 inch. So when it's inserted in, here, let me open this out. I'm going to just fold this down so that the raw edges is enclosed in my previous folds. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take some Wonder Clips and just clip that end in place. If you feel more comfortable, you can add some Wonder Clips along this open edge as well. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine. I'm going to start sewing at this edge where we tucked in the raw edge of the ribbon. And I'm going to sew both of the long edges 1/8 inch away from the edge of the fabric. And when I reach the opposite end, before we complete top stitching along the bottom, say 2 inches, I'm just going to go ahead and trim the fabric about 1/2 inch. Trim the ribbon about 1/2 inch longer than the fabric so that I can tuck the other end in as well. I'm not going to trim it until I get to the other end, just because while sewing the ribbon on top, the layers might shift a little bit, and I just want to make sure I have enough length of the ribbon to be able to tuck it in properly. So I'm actually not going to cut this ribbon until about a couple of inches away from the bottom edge of my fabric. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the sewing machine and get this stitched into place. Okay, so here's my piece of ribbon attached to the fabric, and I also wanted to mention that I slightly increased my stitch length for the top stitching. So my regular stitch length on my machine is 2.5 millimeters, and for top stitching like this, I like to change my stitch length to 3 millimeters instead, just so you get a nice stitch length not too close together. Okay, so now we're going to attach the metal slider. So because this strap is finishing at 1.5 inches wide, I've got my 1.5 inch slider. I'm going to flip to the back side, and I'm going to make a mark using my chalk and ruler that's 2 inches in from the short end. So I'm just going to draw a line. Okay, so I'm going to insert the fabric into the slider through one end and back down the other end, and I'm just going to pull it through like this. So I'm going to flip to the other side, and I'm going to place that metal bar in my slider at that 2-inch mark that I made, and I'm just going to flip the fabric down just like this. So I'm going to add a couple Wonder Clips, and I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch this 1/8 of an inch away from this edge of the fabric, and also 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric, and you can go ahead and leave your stitch length at that slightly lengthened stitch length. Okay, so now it's time to start adding the 2 swivel clips. Again, you want swivel clips with openings of 1.5 inch because that's what the finished width of the strap will be. So I'm going to flip this so that the slider's on the other end, and I'm going to add one of the swivel clips so that it looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, and I'm going to bring this strap piece through the metal slider on the other end. And I'm just going to pull it a few inches away from the end just so I have a little bit of clearance. So here's the slider on the opposite end. I'm going to go flip this over just because I'm right-handed, and I'm going to attach the remaining swivel clip to the remaining short end of the strap fabric. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold this back by about 1.5 inches. And again, we're going to secure the other end by stitching 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric and also 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric. Okay, so as you can see, this was super easy to put together. Obviously, your strap will be not a short little strap like I have here. But I feel like this is a really nice way to kind of elevate a bag, especially if you're making a bag in solid colors. Perhaps you're using cork or vinyl or even wool to make your bag. This is a really great way not only to elevate the look of it, but also you can switch these out. Again, you'll want to have a bag with some sort of attachment on the side, such as a D-ring or a triangle ring. But this is a really great way to switch out your straps, perhaps to coordinate with a different outfit or just kind of your mood of the day. But again, really fun and easy to put together. Renaissance Ribbons has a variety of different ribbons, not only Tula Pink, but other designers as well. And so I recommend you check out their website. Again, link is in the description for Renaissance Ribbons. And as you can see, this is fun and easy to put together. So I hope you enjoyed today's Bag Lab demonstration for the ribbon strap.